All right, so Germany turn. He did shift his forces back around. He bought some more air, so we're now up to 6 fighters and 3 bombers. So we do need to be mindful of that. So what did he bought a bomber fighter, a couple artillery, and an infantry. Only 3 ground in there, so he didn't even fill his 10 spots. Actually, he only built 5 spots. So um, that's good news. The bad news is when he's by building out that many, he is starting to dead zone some of the C zones, right? I can't keep trading all the C zones like I've been doing. But on the flip side, we've opened the Corellia gate. He's not going to be able to close that back down, I don't believe. So we're just going to keep pouring through here, and we're just going to trade up at the eastern front as we can, and we'll keep an eye out for possibly getting a France look in here at some point as well. That's a lot of firepower. I mean, he's got 12 tanks sitting there and 9 birds. So I mean, that alone's 21. And he can pull in some infantry and stuff back. So, I mean, he's got a lot of hitters coming back to France. So I'm not even calculating it out right now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could stack it. Uh, I think I am gonna challenge him though. I'm still gonna keep hitting Italy. Reduce his number of spots he can build for. So I'm gonna, when it comes US's turn, I'm gonna use 1 transport, my battleship, my cruiser, and 2 fighters to hit here, and that's gonna put me a loaded carrier, battleship, cruiser. So that's you know, I count the battleship as 2 when counting planes. So that's gonna be one, two, three. Excuse me, one, two, three, four, five, six, 7. Excuse me if I bring him in. So right, one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 units in there to his 9. So he could easily wipe it out, but I'm only going to have the 1 transport there. My other transport, I'm just going to go ahead and sacrifice it and take this guy in here, which would mean he'd have to use one of his planes to kill it. So that leaves him 8 planes to try to kill my one transport, which I don't think he's going to take those odds. And so I can continue to have some units in here, and I'll be able to hit them one more time, maybe. We'll see. We'll continue to try to be as disruptive down here as we can. Even if we can't get more units into here, we could still buy another couple turns of hitting Italy or Southeast Europe or maybe even France. Who knows? So we're going to be as annoying as we can in there. But the other thing that this does bring, he did bring his 8 tanks down here into Ukraine. So that all of a sudden means, because that's a stack, because I can't kill that, right? Well, I don't think I can. I don't think my bombers can reach that way, right? One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, my bombers can't reach there. So that's a stack. Whoops. Sorry about that. That's a stack. So, but that does give him 2 infantry, 11 tanks, and 9 birds. So, 22 units staring at Caucasus and West Russia. Meanwhile, Japan is starting to accumulate a little bit of firepower over here as well, despite my limitations of what's going on over here. So, looking at this, I mean, Karelia will be stacked because we're going to take both of these. So, Karelia is by de facto going to be stacked and continue to move units in. But I believe I'm only going to be able to stack 2 of the 3 of these between Kaza, Caucasus, and West Russia. I mean, West Russia's got to be given 1, right? Because that's where my units got to come. My Russian units got to come back down to. So West Russia is going to be 1, and then it's going to be okay. So which of these 2 do I stack? Well, I need to get some UK in here this turn so that I can prevent these guys from getting wiped by Japan. So we got to get defense 2 units of UK into here this turn. But if I leave any UK units in Caucasus, if I decide to bail on this on US or Russia, then Germany's going to be able to kill them. So I'm not going to use any of my units to end in Caucasus. But since I know I'm going to keep West Russia, I'm going to leave units here. The units I leave in Kazakh, I can always move after Germany's turn before Japan goes again. So this is where that turn order starts getting a little bit tricky, and you have to think about that on what you're doing and how you're going to move your pieces, because we're now getting all 5 domains interacting with each other here. So speaking specifically to the UK, I continue to be a thorn in his rear end. I'm just enjoying playing this, keeping this Southeast Asia and keeping DEI to myself to the UK. One, it's giving me extra money, so I'm going to keep spending extra money and continue being a headache to him. Now, he did bring his secondary fleet up to here, one to threaten over here, but two, you know, he's probably going to want to try to combine these two fleets together and get back to 61 at some point, somehow. Um, but meanwhile, I'm going to continue to try to make that as hard as possible for him. So, in saying that, I had enough money so I could buy me 3 infantry, 3 artillery up here for UK and my 3 transports. I can buy myself a tank down here in India to go with a submarine and a bomber to continue to create headaches. I'm not too worried about amassing a huge land force here. He's not trying to threaten me back. And, quite frankly, if he did create a push and he took India and Japan 8 or 9, I'm not really too concerned about that. That's a late push, and I'm not worried if he was to do that late. And I don't even think he could do that even if he wanted to, based on things. So I'm not worried about big stacks of units here. Worst case scenario, I just retreat them on back this way as I need to. But that's also why I'm building a tank, because again, tank can move back quickly and help protect one of these two, whichever one I decide to hold this turn, they'll be able to retreat back into there. So there's our purchase. Look at all those goodies. UK spending at 45 IPC and then enjoying it. So, unlike last time, we are going to hit that guy pretty hard. We can't attack anybody else over here on this front, but we're just going to continue to be an annoyance up here on this front. Up here on this front is another story. 3, 4, I want these fighters to get all the way to here, though, so I can't really attack with them. I also want to take both of these guys out at some point. I think I do. Oh, wait, hold on. Don't go there. We want you to come from there so we can retreat back to West Russia if we do lose one there. And let's see. Man, because we're going to go up to shucking up here because of the units here. Sigh. That is the difficulties we live in. Not the greatest, most robust odds there, but we can always, if we can just get that down to 1 and then retreat, we can always hit him next time with the US infantry and 2 fighters. Alright, I think that's all the attacks we can do. Implausible. Impossible. That's a 4v4, 2 units versus 2 units. That should be a 50-50-ish battle. Slightly favored to the tank, I believe, if I remember correctly. Because if we both lose 1, I'll have a 3, he'll have a 2. So, I don't buy implausible. Wow, this is favorable. Interesting. Alright. Start swinging this bomber weight around a little bit. That's why the bombers are there. fighter. We're counting on you, fighter. Thank you. Thank you. Alright, tank, let's roll over some infantry. Alright. Okay. Well. Not precisely what I was looking for, but I'll take it. The next question I have to decide next time is, do I just want to blitz it with the tank, or do I want to use a US? I think I probably want to use US, make them shift units around for me to trade with. We're going to keep them down here. I thought about moving them up there to that Kaza stack, but 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, they can hit all of these zones in here. And particularly 48 was an interesting one because he wants to keep shucking his units, his land units over, right? So he needs to keep enough with my 4 bombers here. He needs to keep at least his carrier, 2 fighters and 2 destroyers, or the battleship. So he can move the battleship, would be his better bit. So he could have 2 battleships, a carrier, a loaded carrier, and a destroyer here. And that's why I did some number crunching before the game. That we'll have 3 subs aiming there. We'll have 4 bombers aiming there. We're going to move so that we could have, actually, I don't think I want the carrier quite there. I want the carrier here. That way he can't get destroyer blocked like the sub can be. But that way, this carrier can get to 48. Fighters can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives me 3. Gives me 4, 5 with my subs. Plus my 4 bombers is 9. And we're talking about a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Double them up, 7, 8. So we should have that Z-Zone 48 dead zoned, even if he was to throw a destroyer down here, which he couldn't really afford because then my bombers could hit there. So we're just really creating a headache. He can't really keep shucking and stack 48. He's going to have to come together higher up. And I'm not even sure if up there will survive, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, my fighters wouldn't be able, my fighter carrier group wouldn't be able to reach it. So he could keep coming this way, and then J7 finally make it to C-Zone 61. All right, what else do we want to do? We want to move him that way, them that way, bring him back up. And that'll do it. I'm sure he's going to groan at another sub and bomber down here. I certainly hope he does. Yeah, so one of the things what I didn't mention is putting my carrier here. Yes, these 2 fighters can go 1, 2, 3, and he can hit my carrier. Oh, you know what? That's why I wanted him over there. The bomber can reach him. Ah, dang it. Alright, well, anyways, I was going to put him there where the bomber can go 1, 2, 3, 4, but can't land. But the bomber can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and land back in here. But at least I'll be able to kill this bomber with my bombers. But anyways, I was looking at the fighters coming here that he'd have to commit his carrier coming down here. I may have given him a little opening there if he looks closely enough. It's not an obvious thing, but he could potentially do something where kill the carrier with the bomber and then move everybody else in here because the fighters no longer would be able to go there. Those two fighters, that is. So maybe he catches that, maybe he doesn't. All right, that'll be it. Oh my goodness, I've been playing all this time and I thought my microphone was on. I am so sorry. You got to see me point a lot and not have a clue what I was saying, but I got to keep moving forward. So we're hoping to neutralize, get that hit. There we go. All right, we got the 3 hits in there. 2 hit backs. Bummer. I really, really, really wanted to take this. I don't think I can take the risk of taking the fighter out though. Unfortunately, well, maybe. So the whole talk I was doing is I'm giving him opportunity to wipe my fleet down here, um, with his units here, while taking on as much IPC as I can. So this fighter is probably dead anyway. So why not take the Italy? So you know what? Because we're also restricting his unit build by taking it. And this fleet's going to get killed anyways, and well, most likely going to get killed, and I'm okay with it. We're going to see how well he wants to risk for the possibility of taking all of that. My whole point was I was trying to get him to have to trade 4 territories. He can use a fighter up on here, and that'll limit what all he has to come in to these 5 to 6 units. But he's got a good opportunity for himself there. We'll see what he does. And the other part I was saying is, my last one I talked about the fact that I could only stack 2 of the 3, but really I do think I can stack all 3 of these territories now, because I was forgetting to take into consideration that these fighters and tanks of UK can move into Kaza before Japan gets their turn. So So that's what we're doing there. And furthermore, what I was saying, I'm okay with him taking out this fleet if he does, simply because um, sorry, because they've done what they need to do, but I've already still got 8 transports doing what I need them to do, going up and down around here. So, we got 5 in here, 3 in here, so I've already got 8 transports doing the shuck plus there, and they're all safe. So we're not super concerned on that. We do need to give 8, 9, 10 for him. Get those guys up here. And again, I apologize. I was in mute that whole first start of the turn. All my brilliant strategy wasted on nobody. Nobody heard it. You know what? No, I like doing that in case he decides to airstrike. Not giving too much. So we'll keep 1 artillery back here. So the idea here was that we have 6 infantry, 2 tanks, and a bomber that can hit Alaska if he so chooses to land there. But I think he's going to come down shucking. And the other part I was talking about is by coming up to Stat Kaza, I'm probably going to have to give up the dead zone of 61-36. We'll see when it gets to UK's turn. But that's okay. Our timing is the UK is round in the corner, Karelia is open, get these bombers back, and let's start putting max impact onto the Germans. All right, that's all the US people that can move, right? Or, well, we're mobilizing anyway, so all right. All right. Double checking my numbers real quick. I want 16, so we're going to be building 4. It'll have 6. $11. One of the things I forgot to again consider is the possibility of a can opener type thing, which would make my stack. Well, I'm only going to have like 4 Russian infantry in here, so it's not a huge thing if I have to bail out and drop my all my UK into Moscow if he does a can opener move. But I do really want to kind of take this guy, which was not part of my initial plans. So all these need to come into here. Can I take 3 guys for trades? That give me 4, 8, 10, 6. That'd leave me 3 down to there. Erg. Alright, I don't like doing it, but we're going to leave the 1 open. He can't take anything up there anyways, so... Well, let's see. 4 blitz and 5 units. I'm building 4. I'd only have... Yeah, no. Let's just do this. Changing my plan up a little bit. I was going to do a 1 and a fighter here and a 1 and a fighter here, but I need all these infantry. I feel more comfortable with them all coming down. 7, 11, 5 coming there, leaving 4 there, which is what I want. Alright. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but that does leave him an infantry there. But if it's just an infantry and a bomber, we should be okay. Alright, come on. Just hit him. Fighter? Come on. Fighter, come on. I can say they'd almost be friends or something. In fact, I am putting the fighter in there, so I don't want to lose that. Well, 14. He's going to have his other ones built in there. There we go. All right.